The NRA is one of the biggest obstacles to raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Not that NRA, the other NRA. Meet the National Restaurant Association, one of the most powerful corporate lobbying groups in the country. They claim to represent small local restaurants, but their biggest members who drive the association are giant global corporations like McDonald's, Yum Brands, which is the owner of Taco Bell and KFC, Disney, and Darden Restaurants, which owns Olive Garden, Longhorn Steakhouse, Capital Grille, and many other brands. The CEOs of these huge companies rake in millions of dollars every year while their workers earn minimum wage, or in some cases even less than the minimum wage. In 16 states, tipped restaurant workers are only guaranteed the federal sub-minimum wage of $2.13 per hour. And in nearly 4 out of 5 states, the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers is $5 or less. 1 in 5 restaurant workers in America live below the poverty line. This is shocking wage disparity, especially when you know the majority of tipped workers in the US are women. The other NRA spends millions every year to make sure Congress sides with restaurant chain CEOs over working people. Their lobbyists block laws to raise the minimum wage and to guarantee paid time off when you're sick. In 2017, they helped kill a rule that would have provided workers an extra $1.2 billion in overtime pay. And the NRA dumps cash into both parties. 79% of their spending in 2020 went to Republicans, who they can reliably count on to fight against better workplace protections and rights. But 6 Democrats also received campaign support for them in 2020, including Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who received $10,600. The idea that workers should be able to survive on tips originated in the South in the 1870s after the end of slavery in the US, because white restaurant and hotel owners didn't want to pay newly freed black workers for their labor. In the 1930s, when a minimum wage was established for most other workers, this sub-minimum wage got enshrined in law. The other NRA spends millions of dollars every year to ensure that wages for food service professionals dominated by women, people of color, and immigrant workers stay low. They're essentially lobbying to uphold a legacy of slavery, a legacy of exploitation and discrimination that cemented sub-minimum wages for tipped workers into law in the first place. Just like the more famous NRA, they flex their political power to defend corporate interests no matter what voters want. In 2018, Washington, D.C. residents voted on whether to slowly raise the sub-minimum wage for tipped workers from just over $3 an hour to the full D.C. minimum wage of $15 an hour by 2026. The NRA's D.C. affiliate spent hundreds of thousands of dollars to scare and mislead workers and the public. But it didn't work. They lost the vote 56 to 44. So what did the Restaurant Association do? They lobbied the mayor and the city council president to overturn the will of the voters and keep the local sub-minimum wage for tipped workers at just $5 an hour. After their success in DC, the NRA launched campaigns in Michigan, New Mexico, Maryland, Chicago, and more to fight similar initiatives for one fair wage. But everywhere, tipped workers and working people have fought back. We know how the NRA uses corporate money to corrupt our democracy. The other NRA is just as bad for working people. Tell your senator to listen to the people, not the other NRA.